What's up, guys? Pittsburgh White Shorts back again with another deck tech. Today I'm going to run through Fate with the new Heaven's Feel stuff. This is the 8-bar build that everyone is sort of talking about as like the next big meta boogeyman. And for good reason. It's a really strong deck. It has a really like non-interactive strategy. It's really rough for a lot of decks to get over it. And like the whole free fresh thing that I'm sure many of you have already seen is a very powerful engine. So I'm just going to run through it as quickly as I can here because a lot of you are probably already familiar with the build. We're going to start off with the Shiro Avenger. It gives all of your masters clock on core, which is like completely ridiculous. The second effect, that like Apple Bonds searches a card that no one plays, doesn't matter. But yeah, this card just always ensures you hit one first, lets you pre-field all your stuff because you're going to pre-field those 1-0 clock bombs that you've also probably already seen. But this is an incredibly strong engine. Turns all your zeros into plussing zeros, and it's made even better because we're going to run this Shiro stock bomb. So he also has another effect that for no reason he can go to memory if there are 2 or less cards in memory at the time he gets reversed. So basically, you clear your opponent's board with this as long as they're not running cards that go to level 1. And then when you're done with it, it just goes to memory and compresses your deck. It's just stupid. Also fixes us for yellow for our yellow tech cards at the top. And it's a master trade, obviously. You wouldn't be able to clock on court otherwise. For Sakura Brainstormer, it's a self-tap salvage Brainstormer, grabs anything, and it has bar filter. So if you don't know what bar filter does, anytime you trigger treasure or bar, you get to finish the bar effect. So the bar goes to your hand, you blind stock yourself, and then you can ditch any card from your hand to grab a card from your clock. I believe it's card... Yes, you can grab anything from your clock because why wouldn't you be able to? Sometimes these are limited to character, but yeah, you can grab just anything from your clock, which is an effect that people consistently underrate. It's very strong, and it can help you filter triggered bars out of your hand when you're getting closer to refresh. And it's a master, so it's a plussing 0. Okay, the big broken part of the deck, Ilia Azusa. There's a reason they don't print on play Azusas anymore, because they're fucking broken. Especially when you have free fresh in your deck. This is a completely broken interaction, and that's the reason why there's a 5-choose-1 in Japanese for this deck. Yeah, it's just an extremely powerful effect. It only grabs Master, which means it can't grab Rider, which is like the only Master card, non-Master card that we really care about in this list. But it's just an incredibly strong effect because free fresh is basically pay 1, heal 1, you get an AK and it cantrips. It's just stupid. But yeah, there's a reason they don't print these anymore. They're unbelievably strong. And this card has become ungodly expensive. All right, the last card we run at 0 is we're running one of the Salter Drop Search. It's a 3,500 if 2 or less stock, and it can search your deck for any Master or Servant, so it just grabs anything. I was really afraid of fixing for red to ensure that we can always get the free fresh off. If you open it, it can just randomly live because it's a 3,500. As a one-of, it's been pretty strong, but if you hate it, just turn it into another Shiro Clock Bomb, or whatever you want, really. All right, let's get these zeros out of here and move on to the fun stuff. So level 1, so you're always going to hit level 1 first. So what's a good thing to throw down at level 1 when you get there first? Bombs. This Sakura bomb is a 1-0 cost bomb, so cost zeros, and then it also has on play, ditch a climax, salvage a character, which is really cool when you run 8 bars and there's always climaxes in your hand. Yeah, this is like an incredible consistency tool. It makes the deck hell for like basically every deck in the meta because you're getting to 1 first, and unless they rip like a 1/1 silica or a silica clone out on turn at level 0, they basically can't answer this without like hard playing 1/1s or playing jank like the 1/1s that can't get reversed and stuff. So like this card is super unbelievably strong, and then after your opponent deals with it once and it becomes reversed, you clock on court with the Shiro and they have to deal with it again. That's when your opponent makes the same face that Sakura's making. So yeah, it is just an unbelievably powerful card to pre-fill. That's why we run 4 of it, and of course the ditch a climax, salvage a character on it is just insult to injury. Next card we run at level 1. So we're running 4 of the Sakura that combos with the gold bar. She's just an on reverse search. She only goes to 6,500 on attack, which is garbage. But because you're always getting the level 1 first, And because she's on a bar, that's the reason we run her. Otherwise, the card is just fucking whatever. It doesn't really matter. It has pretty art, though. Moving on, we run 2 of the Lancer stock swap. This is Buns for luck, but it's a 1/1, and it has a fake condition where you have to have 2 or more green characters on field. Stock swap, super spooky. I don't know why this deck has stock swap. It's dumb. It's so dumb. It's so dumb that this deck in particular has stock swap. Like Bang Dream having stock swaps, whatever. Konosuba, I don't even want to get into it. But this deck in particular having access to 1/1 stock swap is hella dumb. It's really good at like a matchup that people would conventionally say is pretty bad for this deck, which is Konosuba. You can like instantly counter them for like stock charging with Union if they've stock charged clean. And like you can check their deck and, you know, confirm that. You can like instantly punish level 1 stock charge strategies with this. It's just really dumb that it's a 1/1 and it has a fake condition. Lastly, we're running 1 of the Rin anti-change. This is Shaken Megumin, but actually this came first. So it's on play ditch 2. You can anti-change your character. A lot of people are cutting this, but I still think it's pretty strong to include just because like people play really stupidly when you openly salvage this. You can grab it off any of your stuff. And anti-change, especially in a deck where like you're always clock encoring, so you always have hand, the cost isn't as bad in this deck as it would be in other decks. So it's still really steep cost. It's still just waiting room anti-change, but you play it. It's a strong effect. Moving on to an extremely light level 2. You already know, we run 4 of the Rin Archer Free Fresh. This card's stupid. It's on play if you have 5 or less cards in deck. Free Fresh your deck, draw a card. So that's basically pay 1, heal 1, free fresh, and cantrip. It's like stupid. They don't print these profiles anymore either, for good reason. And like I said, well, I'm dropping cards all over the place. The Ilya Azusa with this card is just a completely broken interaction. If you think like for a second what these cards do, the fact that you have both of them, they're both master trait, and then the deck strategy is basically just over compress and crash every turn, slam bar like crazy. So you push damage, you never take refresh damage. It's just really strong. This is like a ridiculous interaction. Last card at level 2. So a lot of people are running the Rider Slayer, the one that goes to 13 and blind stocks you when it kills a level 2 or higher. But in my testing, I think that this anti-change bottom decker bomb just does more. It's grabbable off your Ilya, which is the big reason why I found it to be better. And it's like really good against stuff in English where we're not seeing the standby hellscape yet, and this is good at like destroying Yo, so Conan doesn't work and stuff like that. So I just think it's an overall stronger option right now. If standby and stuff like wall decks where you have to deal with big level 2s all the time becomes a problem, you can easily put the Rider in there. Just be aware you're probably going to have to run 2 of the Rider just to make sure you see it, because unlike this, the Rider is not master trait and you can't grab it off Ilya. So just something to keep in mind. All right, the fun stuff. So we're running 3 Rider. Why only 3? Because this card actually just doesn't do enough. It's an on-play heal, and then on attack you can pay 2, ditch 1, and then your opponent can't front attack this, so they have to side it. And then also the character across from it gets minus 3k. Which is a continuous effect. So if they shove stuff that's not 3k, higher than 3k in front of it, it instantly dies as a rule action. So something to keep in mind. Forcing side is really good for living because you're a stall deck, you're over compressing. You basically your general game plan in Fate is to just run out bombs and stuff and play free fresh basically every single turn with Ilya Azusa, milling out your deck, ensuring that you have absolutely absurd compression, and then slamming a bar every turn because you always have one. But when you get there, you like start stalling out at level 3 with this, and the big problem is like this gets winded, it instantly doesn't do anything. People are teching a bunch of bounce. It's a good thing to threaten, but at the end of the day, your strategy is going to be like crashing and living, and never dying because of like the overcompression, the fact that you're forcing your opponent to overswing. But it's still a really, really great card. It's a really strong effect, and it combos with bar, which is important. So yeah, it's a strong card, but in practice, it's going to feel a little underwhelming, and people are going to answer it a lot more than you think. Moving on, we're running 2 Soccer Alpaca. This profile is stupid. This is on play salvage, and then you can rest it to stock charge yourself from waiting room, and then I think it's a level assist, yeah. So just a really, really strong profile. Basically gives you an extra stock every turn, which when you're in like after your rider turns, like you can like basically always play 2 level 3s or at least 1 level 3, so you can like always heal. Yeah, just a really, really, really strong profile. And yeah, just like letting you stall out the level 3 game, because like if you get hit the level 3 early, you can drop one of these, salvage whatever you need for the following turn, or another heal, and then just like start stock charging yourself every turn. The incremental value this can get you turn after turn is insane. Next, we're running 2 of the Lisbeth clones, Ilias. So these are 500 for every other character, so they sit at 11, and they play for 1. They're ditch a card, heal from stock, heal to stock. So yeah, just a really, really efficient card. A lot of people are like upping this to 3 or even trying to early play it. Upping it to 3 is fine. I don't think trying to early play it is right, just because the list is so tight. And at level 2, you really just want to be like free freshing and milling down your deck every turn. So yeah, running it at 3 is fine. I just prefer having more copies of the next card, which is Caster. So a lot of people are only running 1 of this, but I'm running 2. So it's top check X, gets you into what you need. And then also has, when it reverses, you can pay 4 and ditch 2. Let me double check that here. The number of times you use this effect is very, very minimal. But you pay 4, ditch 2, and then you can restand it after you get a reverse. So it's just a way to push for game in a deck where you're stalling. So this is basically taking the same slot of the 3/3 of it. So you're basically slotting aggression into where JP had heal, which I think is a pretty strong strategy. But this is up to you. You can always do this. I think this is also pretty strong. So just whatever is your personal preference. Last card at level 3, the Saber Bouncer. For a card of this type, it's really, really strong. It's just on play bounce, and then also has on attack. You can, I believe it's pay 1, pitch 1. Pay 1, pitch 1. All your Master of Servants get 500 power and a soul, so it lets you swing over opponent walls, set up exact lethals, and all that fun stuff. So technically we are 4 color because we're green, blue, red, but we really only play this in relevant matchups, and you'll extend yourself to do so because it'll probably win you the game. But yeah, let me just go through the climaxes real quick. Should be pretty freaking obvious. We are playing 8 bars. This is either the best climax lineup or the most frustrating climax lineup. Thankfully, you have a bazillion filter tools in this deck, because that's all this deck does, is filter, mill, free, fresh, and lie. So you have a lot of ways to take advantage of this. And because you're super compressing, you just like, and you always have one of these, even if you think it's just like, oh, I should like save this climax, no, you fucking slam that shit and crash your whole board, because there's no way you die. Theoretically, you can lose the lice lottery and be super compressed and still eat 7 and die, but like that's just life. Theoretically, you should never take a lot of damage in this deck if you are crashing and forcing your opponent to overswing. Your opponent can do things to, they can stock swap you and stuff like that, but you have so many good stock outs the second you get to level 3, and if they stock swap you, you're definitely going there. So you can pay yourself out, free fresh, and be in like a better state. So this is you're definitely going to see a lot of this deck going forward. Only 3 people were playing it at Worlds, which was actually super surprising. I think people were just sort of rocking with what they knew because it is a newer deck. But it's an extremely, extremely powerful deck, and you're going to see a lot of it. Both expect to see it on almost every team at Springfest, and you're going to see a lot of it in singles, unless Bushiroad does something about it, because we don't have the 5-choose-1. Because effectively, the 5-choose-1 was a ban on the 3/3 event, and then a 3 choose 1 because one of the cards was just the free fresh twice because this card is printed twice in Japan. So yeah. So yeah, like unless Bushiroad decides to actually use their ban list, you're gonna see this deck a hell of a lot. Because if things go as they should, theoretically, you're gonna have a hell of a lot hard time killing them unless you have stock swap. And you do it at the right time. And then even stock swap doesn't work sometimes. So yeah, a really strong deck. It's really fun to pilot. Your opponents will hate you because it's really frustrating to play against unless like they're getting pretty lucky. So yeah, just a really, really fun deck. Expect to see a lot of it. And I think that's it. So we're here at Heroes today, as we always are, which is Robinson Township, Pittsburgh, PA. We're like 10 minutes from the airport. So if you're ever in the area, we play on Wednesdays and Sundays. Come and check us out. And yeah, I think, what do we have? The meta wrap up will probably go up by the time this video goes up. And then I think we got JoJo's in the pipeline. So yeah, look out for that. All right, Pittsburgh White Schwartz signing off.